Why the deadliest predator in the ocean refuses to kill us.
Watch this. You just fell into the open ocean. You have no armor, you can't swim fast, you are completely defenseless. To almost any predator, you are the easiest meal on Earth. And then you see it. The deadliest apex.
This is why I don't really, I thought I didn't really do the ocean, but when I went to Korea like 2-3 years ago, I really liked being on the beach, but like actually being out on the water would, I think that would fill me with a sense of dread that I would not be able to get over. It's just too much open water. I don't even like being in Lake Michigan, if I'm being honest, because the water's so fucking murky. You can't fucking see anything beneath it. I can't tell if there's fucking dead bodies beneath me or fish or whatever.
Predator in the entire ocean. It's swimming towards you, and then it squeaks and does little circles around you. You're safe? The killer whale hunts great whites. They drown whales larger than buses. They will rip apart dolphins, their own biological cousins, just for fun. Everything in the water is prey to them, except us. In all of recorded history, there has never been a single fatal attack on a human by a wild orca, ever. We are perfectly bite-sized, incredibly slow, and we swim directly in their hunting grounds. So, why do the most ruthless, most intelligent, most capable killers in the entire ocean absolutely refuse to want to eat us? I mean, seriously, we can't taste that bad, right? Well, the most obvious answer that usually comes to mind for most people is that orcas are just friendly. I mean, look at them. They look like giant, wet pandas. Yeah, they do flips at marine parks.
People think pandas are cute. They will absolutely fuck you up. They're still bears. I'm sure if you fuck with an orca enough, it'll fucking drag you under and drown you to death.
So naturally, people assume they have some sort of gentle disposition. But obviously, looking cute doesn't somehow make you a pacifist. Out in the wild, orcas are brutally violent. They kill with a level of calculated efficiency that's genuinely hard to watch. When they hunt sharks, an orca will swim underneath the shark and use its massive tail to deliver a high-speed karate chop directly to the shark's underbelly. This creates a vortex that flips the shark upside down.
That's what I just said.
And when a shark is flipped upside down, it enters a state of tonic immobility, which is just a fancy way of saying it gets completely paralyzed. The orca then just casually holds the paralyzed shark underwater until it suffocates.
Wow.
When they hunt whale calves, the pod will completely bypass the thick blubber. They coordinate to physically swim over the top of the baby whale, repeatedly pushing it underwater and blocking its blowhole. They literally drown it. They'll swim up to the ice floes where seals are resting, and instead of trying to jump on the ice, the pod will swim in a synchronized line to create an artificial wave. The wave crashes over the ice, washes the seal into the water, and then, well, you know the rest. These animals are highly organized and completely ruthless. So if they're this violent and this willing to kill basically anything that breathes, what would actually happen if they decided to hunt us? Let's just completely...
The reason they don't hunt humans, it's like if I go to, what is there's a, like, I know guinea pigs as pets, right? But there's I think is it Peru? There's a country that eats guinea pigs. Yeah, Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Southern Colombia. Okay. It's kind of the same thing, right? Like if I go to Peru, I don't know that I'm going to eat the guinea pig, especially like just because we don't like this is not a normal thing for us in America. Like you give me chicken, beef, pork, whatever, I'll eat it. But like it's kind of the same thing here. Like they know we're alive and we're animals, but like it's not part of their natural food chain. Why would they try and eat us?
You remove the mystery for a second and look at the physical reality of what a human is compared to an orca. If an orca actually wanted to eat you, there's no escape.
Yeah,
there's no fighting back. There's no swimming away. The fastest human swimmer in history, Michael Phelps, tops out at around 6 miles per hour. An orca
is that body profile
in history, Michael Phelps, tops out at
my God. I don't know if it's the water distorting the image and making him look that way, but that is a crazy image right
around 6 miles per hour. An orca can casually cruise at 35 miles per hour. They weigh up to 6 tons. They have teeth that look like this, which means they can easily crush bone. Normally, an orca has to work for its meals. If they want to eat a dolphin, they have to engage in an exhausting underwater chase. If they want to eat a seal, they have to navigate shallow rocks, kelp forests, and deal with prey that actually knows how to dodge. But a human? To an orca, a human is essentially a blind, deaf, incredibly slow-moving chicken nugget.
Oh.
Which is a little offensive, but mathematically true. We splash around loudly on the surface, broadcasting our exact location to everything within a 5-mile radius.
Wow.
We can't dive deep to escape. We can't hold our breath. We have absolute...
They think we're so weak that we're just not worth eating, which is fucking insane. We're like what's a... Not to say they're worthless, but like these dogs, Maltipoos, they just sit there. You could run at one and it wouldn't thing. Like it would just roll over. Like I would never think to eat this thing. It's kind of the same thing. I wonder if other animals think we're cute the way we think cats and dogs are cute. Maybe this is one of those situations too.
Zero natural camouflage. If they wanted to hunt us, it wouldn't even be a hunt. It would just be like going to the grocery store. For the orca, that is. You are the groceries. You're cooked. So if we're genuinely the easiest meal in the entire ocean, and they're fully capable of killing us in about 3 seconds, why don't they? Is it just because we taste terrible? Well, biologically, humans are a terrible meal. An adult orca needs to consume hundreds of pounds of food every single day just to maintain its body temperature and keep its massive organs functioning. And in the freezing cold ocean, the only thing that actually matters is calories. Specifically, fat. When an orca hunts a seal or a whale, they're looking for blubber. Blubber is incredibly dense, highly nutritious, and packed with the exact type of energy an orca needs.
So I wonder, a lot of these divers are like pretty skinny and fit. What if someone like me were to go into the ocean? Would they suddenly want to eat us more? Or like, what if you took somebody from like my 600-pound life and dumped them into the ocean in front of a bunch of orcas? Would they suddenly want to eat them too? Because then now they suddenly have a bunch of fat. If that's the whole point, then a fat human would be good eats, right?
Survive.
Although like the level of fat is different, I guess. Like a whale gets fat on fucking what, krill, and our humans get fat on McDonald's.
Now, look at a human. Even the heaviest humans, and I'm sure all of my Beyond the Blue viewers are in absolute peak condition, are still mostly just bone, water, and muscle. We don't have thick layers of blubber. We don't have massive oil-rich livers. We're incredibly lean, and to make matters worse, the humans that orcas usually encounter are covered in weird, synthetic skins. If you're a surfer or a scuba diver, you're wrapped in a neoprene wetsuit. Neoprene is literally just synthetic rubber. So imagine you're a starving predator looking for a high-fat, high-calorie meal, and you come across a human. You'd essentially be looking at a bony, meat-poor skeleton wrapped in a giant tire, which probably doesn't sound very appetizing. It's just a waste of time. The amount of energy the orca would spend digesting the bones and processing the completely useless rubber wetsuit.
So it's like celery. Like if you put a piece of celery in front of me, and there's also a rotisserie chicken with bread, I would rather eat the rotisserie chicken and bread. But like humans are celery to them. Not enough fat, kind of healthy, I guess. Not enough calories.
Would probably cost them more calories than they'd actually get out of eating.
It is literally celery. Celery, you use more energy digesting celery than you do, and you gain from eating it.
You. This makes complete logical sense. We're just biological junk food. But wait, what about great white sharks? If the only rule for an orca's diet is you must be covered in blubber, then their diet suddenly stops making sense the second you look at the coast of South Africa. Because over the last few years, a pair of orcas have been absolutely terrorizing the local great white shark population. And sharks don't have blubber. They're essentially giant tubes of cartilage and muscle. But the orcas aren't eating the whole shark. They hunt the great white, flip it upside down to paralyze it, and then they make a surgical tear directly under the shark's pectoral fins. They do this to access the shark's liver. A great white shark's liver is absolutely massive. It can make up to 1/4 of the shark's entire body weight, and it's packed completely with squalene, which is an energy-rich oil. The orcas will literally squeeze the shark like a tube of toothpaste, pop the liver out, eat it, and then completely abandon the rest of the shark's body.
It's like Go-Gurt. Do kids even eat Go-Gurt anymore? Like Go-Gurt, you squeeze out what you want, you throw out the little wrapper. Sharks are Go-Gurt.
To sink to the ocean floor. They completely ignore the meat and the cartilage. They only want the exact specific organ that gives them the most calories. And this completely destroys the humans are too bony theory. Because if an orca is smart enough to surgically extract a specific internal organ from an apex predator, they could easily figure out how to eat a human. It's not just, oh, they don't know how to get past the
Yeah,
rubber
they could just eat our midsection where all the fat is and the thighs and then leave the rest. But they don't do that.
wetsuit. They could just bite us in half, eat the meaty parts, and spit out the bones in the wetsuit. They have the physical tools and the intelligence to eat us if they wanted to. So biology isn't the whole answer. It all comes down to what they actively choose to eat. To understand why an orca chooses to ignore a human, you have to understand how their society actually works. Orcas aren't mindless eating machines that just bite whatever fits in their mouth. They're bound by generational rules. Different pods of orcas have completely different cultures, and those cultures dictate exactly what they're allowed to eat. For example, in the Pacific Northwest, there's a specific population known as the southern resident killer whales. These orcas exclusively eat fish, specifically Chinook salmon. They have been hunting Chinook salmon for thousands of years.
Exclusively?
Their mothers taught them to eat salmon. Their grandmothers taught them to eat salmon. And their great-grandmothers also taught them how to eat salmon.
Wow.
If a southern resident orca
That's
is
all
swimming
they
around
crave.
looking for food, and a fat, juicy harbour seal swims directly in front of its face, the orca will completely ignore it. They won't even look at it.
Wow.
Even when salmon populations drop dangerously low, and these orcas are literally starving to death, they'd honestly rather just starve. Because to them, a seal isn't food. It simply doesn't register as something you put in your mouth. On the exact same coastline, there's another population called the transient orcas. These orcas exclusively eat marine mammals, like seals and dolphins. They'll swim right past a massive school of salmon and ignore it completely. An orca's diet is completely locked in by its culture. If the matriarch of the pod didn't teach you that something is food, you don't eat it. And not just,
Oh, I'm really not in the mood for seal today.
it literally doesn't register as something you put in your mouth.
You know,
But
it's
how
like,
do they even
an Italian, if you take an Italian, like from Italy, Olive Garden, they're like, that's not food. And they won't eat it. It's a little bit like that, huh?
No, we aren't on the menu. An orca can't exactly rely on its eyes to hunt. Once you go down even a little bit, the ocean gets dark, fast. So they rely heavily on echolocation. They send out high-frequency clicks that bounce off objects in the water and return to their lower jaw, which acts as a massive acoustic receiver. This basically gives them a built-in sonar map of everything around them, and they're incredibly precise with this. An orca can use echolocation to tell the difference between a Chinook salmon and a coho salmon from hundreds of feet away, just by the specific way the sound bounces off the fish's internal swim bladder. So, what happens when they echolocate a human? Well, we sound entirely wrong. We don't have a swim bladder. We have two massive air-filled lungs. Our bone density is completely different from a seal or a fish. And if we're wearing a scuba tank or a wetsuit, the sound waves bounce off the metal and the neoprene in a way that creates a completely confusing acoustic signature. To an orca, a human doesn't sound like a fish. We don't sound like a seal. We sound like a hollow, metallic alien bobbing awkwardly on the surface. Honestly, it's a miracle they don't attack us just for being annoying. We also move wrong. Seals are graceful. Fish are streamlined. Humans thrash around with four gangly limbs, splashing water everywhere and moving at a painfully slow speed. We don't look like prey. We don't sound like prey. We don't act like prey. So their instinct to hunt never triggers. We just register as background noise. But what happens when you take an orca out of the wild? We have to address the biggest counter-argument to this entire topic. I've been saying that orcas never kill humans, but if you have watched the news at any point in the last 30 years, you'd know that's technically not true. Orcas have killed humans, but only in captivity. There have been a handful of tragic incidents where captive orcas...
Because you're taking a really smart animal and locking it up and making it do stuff. And then just based on what this guy said, right? Those orcas in like whatever region only eat Chinook salmon and the other ones only eat seals. Like you're probably feeding it something it doesn't want to eat. And you're making it work for it. Like I would fucking attack somebody too if you kept me up, locked up for fucking 5 years and said, hey, you can only eat quinoa and tofurkey. I would probably beat the shit out of whoever was giving me that too.
Notably a massive male named Tillicum, have killed their trainers. But these incidents
Till I Come is a crazy fucking name.
actually prove the exact point we've been making. When these captive orcas killed humans, they still didn't eat them. These attacks were pure acts of an extreme psychological breakdown.
They're smart.
Imagine
they don't want to be
taking an
fucked
animal
with.
that's highly social, incredibly intelligent, and evolved to swim up to 100 miles a day in the open ocean, and locking it inside a concrete swimming pool for 30 years. They're separated from their families. They're forced to perform tricks for dead fish. They live in a featureless box where their echolocation just bounces endlessly off flat concrete walls, driving them slowly insane. Which, yeah, fair enough. When a captive orca lashes out, it's an actual trauma response. It's an animal that has simply been pushed way past its limit. It has absolutely nothing to do with how a normal orca acts out in the wild. In the wild, where they have space, family, and freedom, that level of unprovoked aggression towards humans simply doesn't exist. But what about wild orcas attacking boats right now? If you've paid attention to the news recently, you might be thinking, wait a minute, wild orcas are absolutely attacking people right now. Off the coast of the Iberian Peninsula, near Spain and
Before the video moves on, I'll bet people are doing something to make the orcas act that way. Whether it's littering shit in the water, or maybe they're competing for food, or I don't know. I imagine they're fucking with the orcas in some way.
Portugal, a specific pod of wild orcas has spent the last few years actively attacking and sinking human sailboats. They swim up to the yachts, specifically target the rudder, and do, well, this to it. They ram the hulls, they snap the steering mechanisms, and in several cases, they have caused so much damage that the boats have actually sunk to the bottom of the ocean. This sounds terrifying. It sounds like they're finally fighting back. But here,
but they're doing it to yachts, right? So it's to rich people. Fuck them. I think no matter how rich I got in life, I don't think I'd ever buy a fucking yacht. If I ever do that, at that point, you can call me a piece of shit. I don't think I have the desire to ever do. I don't even think genuinely, I don't even think I'd own a Lamborghini or like a Ferrari. I just don't think I give a fuck about having a car like that, or even a boat. You know what I mean? And I definitely wouldn't have a private plane. That sounds like something that's just not my personality. Good on the orcas for fucking those people up. Fuck them.
here is the craziest part about every single one of these boat sinkings. Once the boat goes down, and the humans are forced to abandon ship and float helplessly in the water, the orcas completely stop attacking. They literally just watch the humans bobbing in the water, completely vulnerable, and they do absolutely nothing. They don't bite them, they don't drag them under, they just swim away. Even when they're actively destroying our property, and even when we're dumped directly into their territory with zero protection, their strict don't harm humans rule remains completely intact. Marine biologists still don't fully agree on why they're attacking the rudders. Some think it's a learned behaviour stemming from a previous boat strike. Others think it's literally just a fad. The orca equivalent of a TikTok.
So like somebody runs over an orca and hits an orca, so the rest of the family is like, you fucked with my family? It's like Fast and Furious. Like if you fuck with fucking Letty, Dom and fucking everybody else is gonna come and race against you and then beat the shit out of you and take your money.
Trend where teenagers break things for fun. Of course, this sounds completely
be it too.
ridiculous, but it's actually a heavily researched scientific theory. But whatever reason, their target is strictly the boat. And to ignore a human floating right in front of you after you just spent an hour destroying their boat requires a massive amount of cognitive restraint. This level of restraint brings us to what's actually going on inside their brains. If you want to know why an orca doesn't act like a mindless killer, you just have to look at an MRI scan of their brain. An orca's brain weighs around 15 pounds. It's incredibly dense and highly folded. In science terms, this folding is called gyrification, but all that really means is more folds equals more brain power. And
Smart.
an orca's brain is significantly more folded than a
shit.
human's. But the most important part
but
of their
they're
brain
bigger
is something
too,
called
so-
the paralimbic cleft. In humans, the limbic system is the part of the brain that processes emotions. But in an orca, the emotional processing center is physically expanded and extended out into the rest of the cortex. They also have a massive amount of spindle neurons, which are specialized brain cells linked directly to social organization, empathy, and emotional intelligence. Which basically means orcas might actually feel emotions and empathy on a level that we can't even comprehend. Their entire existence is built around their family. They grieve for the dead. They share food. They communicate with complex dialects. Or really, entirely distinct languages.
Wow.
They're actively thinking, feeling, and making conscious decisions. When an orca looks at a human,
This is
they
why
see
sometimes I'm like, I have a hard, like, right now I still eat meat, but there are days where I'm like, I think I want to stop eating cow. Or like, I used to eat octopus. I don't eat octopus at all anymore. After I watched some video that shows like they're very smart and they can actually communicate with people. I don't know that I could do that or eat an animal like that. So there is a part of me that kind of wants to go vegan, but I don't know if I could sustain it, especially with how long I've been eating meat. I just don't think. I mean, maybe I could keep it going for like a couple weeks, but then I'm just right back to eating meat, right?
more than just a shape in the water. With a brain that complex, it's entirely possible that
Plus,
they
I like Popeyes way too much. Like, I don't think I could ever give up chicken. Like a Popeyes chicken sandwich, mac and cheese, French fries, coleslaw, drink, biscuit, another 2 pieces of chicken, ranch. Oh my god,
recognize us
I
as
could crush that right now.
another intelligent, social creature. But is it just empathy, or do they know something else about us? There's another theory that's a little more unsettling, but given how smart these animals are, it's impossible to completely rule out. What if they don't eat us because they know exactly what we're capable of?
Popeyes chicken
For
tenders are
hundreds
the
of
best.
years, humans
I like chicken tenders, but I gotta tell you, I'm more into just like the chicken on the bone, which is way messier. But yeah, there's something about Popeye's flavor that is great. Um, However, I will say I cannot get the spicy chicken anymore. There's something about hot sauce when it's mixed with oil, it sits in my body in a way where it doesn't hurt going in. I can handle the spice in my mouth, but my body just cannot handle it anymore. Like I'll be out for the whole day if I eat the spicy chicken there. And that goes for like jardinera and like other hot sauces too. I'm just on the fucking toilet shitting all fucking day.
completely decimated the ocean. During the
And
19th
I pointedly refuse to take a shit at work. 'Cause at home I have a bidet. I don't want to walk around all day. Like I'm not a disgusting piece of shit. I wipe, but I don't. Because I it's too much information. I poop so normally in the morning before I go to work that I just don't carry wipes with me, and I am not gonna start. I don't know where I'm going. I can't poop outside of home. I need the bidet. This is also by the way why I would not survive an apocalypse. Because once my bidet goes away, my mood will never reach the highs that it can reach now ever again, right? And then Popeyes disappears, and that level for my mood drops even more. And then if I can't feed my cat and my cat dies, bruh, it'll just fucking plummet, right? So I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but it is what it is.
20th centuries, commercial whaling wiped out massive amounts of whale and orca populations. And the way humans hunted orcas was incredibly brutal. Whalers would often specifically target the calves, harpooning the babies but keeping them alive in the water. They knew that the mother and the rest of the pod would never abandon a crying calf.
Oh shit.
When the pod swam in to try and save the baby, the whalers
get
would
the rest of
slaughter
them.
the entire
That's
family.
fucked up.
It was devastating. Now, remember how orca culture works. Knowledge is passed down from the matriarchs, and female orcas can live to be over 80 years old. There are literally orcas swimming in the ocean right now that were alive during the height of commercial whaling. They were there. They saw what happened. Is it possible that ultra matriarchs passed down a very specific rule to their pods?
Don't touch the humans, because if you touch one of them, they'll come back and kill all of us.
We know they passed down
True.
hunting techniques.
True. Bro, we kill so many fucking animals. Like Korea, tiger, is it extinction? We hunted so many fucking tigers that they just don't exist. Yeah, they're extinct since 1922 on Tedok Mountain. Um, there used to be a lot of tigers, but because they just kept killing people so often that we like created little units of people to hunt them down. And then I mean, like, did we hunt pandas? Yeah, hunted. I mean, you know, the ivory trade in Africa. Like, we just fucking ruin everything.
know they pass down migration routes. Passing down the knowledge that humans will absolutely ruin their life if you touch them is easily something they could do. We might not be safe because they like us. We might be safe because we're the only thing in the ocean that actually terrifies them. The apex predator of the entire ocean is scared of us. But surely, out of millions of encounters, someone had to make a mistake. You'd think that with millions of surfers splashing around in murky water, an orca would eventually make a mistake. A shark will bite a surfer because a surfboard looks exactly
Looks like a
like a
seal.
seal from below. So, has an orca ever actually
I know
messed
the chances of me getting bitten by a shark are really low, but like, and I'm how often am I going to go to Hawaii or like near an ocean? Like, but that's one of the reasons why I won't surf ever. I'm too afraid. Like, what if I'm the one guy that does end up getting bit by a shark? You know, and shark bites are pretty gnarly, dude. They don't heal right because of the way shark teeth are. I mean, look at that. Can I show this on? Am I going to get banned? I won't. I won't undo the these ones. But like, and I won't go any lower. But like, they don't heal right because the how jagged the teeth are. If you get stung by a jellyfish too, yeah. I mean, you know what? That scares me a little less than sharks. But there are some jellyfish that aren't there jellyfish that can fucking kill you with one. Like you get stung once and you're like paralyzed or you fucking die. Deadliest jellyfish. The Australian box jellyfish. Yeah, yeah. That's fucking attacks the heart, nervous system, skin cells. No, thank you. I'm good. I do, like I said though, when I went to Korea 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the ocean was my favorite part, but I was on sand the whole time. I wasn't on a boat. I don't want to go into a boat.
up and bitten a human? Yes, but it's so rare that you can basically count the incidents on one hand. The most famous case happened in 1972 at Point Sur in California. A surfer named Hans Kretschmer was paddling out in extremely murky water. Suddenly, a wild orca breached the surface and clamped its jaws directly onto his leg. This was it, the jaws of a 6-ton predator closing around a human. But then, something incredible happened. The exact second the orca's teeth sank in and it realized what it had in its mouth, it stopped. It didn't
spit it out.
thrash. It didn't pull him under. It immediately opened its mouth, let go of
This
his
is
leg,
fucking
and swam
disgusting.
away as fast as it could. Hans survived with a nasty bite mark, but he kept his leg and he kept his life. The orca had clearly made a mistake. In the murky water, he saw the dark shape splashing out on the surface and assumed it was a seal. But the absolute millisecond it tasted neoprene and human bone, its cultural programming overrode its predatory instinct. It realised this isn't food, and it aborted the attack instantly. Even when an orca makes a fatal error, the cognitive restraint is so powerful that they'll literally spit us out rather than break the rules of their pod. You don't have to look at historical records. You can just go to Norway. Every winter, massive schools of herring migrate into the fjords of northern Norway, and hundreds of wild orcas follow them to feed. And every winter, humans put on dry suits, jump off boats, and swim directly into the middle of these feeding frenzies. You have dozens of massive apex predators swimming at high speeds, coordinating attacks, slapping the water, and eating thousands of fish. And right in the middle of this chaos are fragile humans floating with cameras, which, objectively speaking, is a really stupid place to be. If there was ever a time for an orca to accidentally hit a human, or get aggressive over food, this would be it. But they don't. Instead, the orcas will swim right up to the divers. They'll stop a few feet away, hover in the water, and scan the humans with their echolocation. You can actually feel the clicks vibrating in your chest. They look at the humans, they realise we aren't herring, and they just casually swim around us and go back to hunting. They're completely indifferent. Sometimes they're slightly curious, maybe doing a slow barrel roll to get a better look, but there's absolutely zero aggression. They navigate around the humans with the same casual avoidance that you'd use to walk around a traffic cone on the sidewalk. We're just an object in their environment, completely irrelevant. Which brings us to the final realization. When you look at the full picture, the reason wild orcas don't attack humans isn't just one simple thing. It's a combination of our complete lack of nutritional value, their strict cultural diets, their bizarre acoustic signature, and an emotional intelligence that allows them to recognize us as something outside the food chain. But there's a profound irony in all this.
Basically, we're too weak, too weird, and not good enough for food. So the next time your parents are like disappointed in you and they think you're not good enough, to remember it's worse than that, because there is a fish in the ocean that also thinks you're dog shit.
Them killer whales. We built an entire mythology around them being
This year, what if my kids fail? Like, that's how I should talk to them, right? Not only did you get an F on this test, orcas think you're fucking worthless.
ruthless monsters. We captured them, put
They
them
wouldn't
in
eat
concrete
you
tanks,
if you
and
offered
forced them
yourself
to
up.
perform for our entertainment. We hunted them to the brink of extinction. Yet, despite everything we have done for them, and despite the fact they could effortlessly wipe out any human they encounter in the water, they choose not to. The ocean's deadliest predator, an animal that rips apart great white sharks and drowns baby whales, looks at us, completely vulnerable in their territory, and decides to just let us live. They show a level of restraint that we rarely ever showed towards them. We spend so much time looking for intelligent life in outer space, completely ignoring the alien intelligence swimming in our own oceans.
How much of the ocean have we even... I don't think we've discovered that much. We haven't explored that much of the ocean. How much of the ocean have we explored? Less than 5%. Okay.
I'm looking for intelligent life in outer space, completely ignoring the alien intelligence swimming in our own oceans. An intelligence that's fully capable of destroying us, but actively chooses to leave us alone.
Yeah, but only
And
if we're in the
honestly,
water.
If you ever find yourself floating in the open ocean with a 6-foot dorsal fin heading your way, you should probably just be incredibly grateful that they have better manners than we do. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the support, and please keep leaving your suggestions in the comments because I do actually read them to plan future videos. Also, if you guys haven't checked out my second channel, Beyond the Green, make sure to give that a look too.
I will give this guy a subscribe. I like that a lot. Yeah, I think two things. One, I'm not gonna go in the ocean. Like it, I just won't find myself in the ocean. On the beach of an ocean, sure. Maybe a small boat really close to the beach, sure. But I'm not going deep sea fishing or any of that shit. And then the prior video, I'm never putting a gun near my fucking dick and balls. So I feel like I'm kind of a bitch, is what I'm learning from these videos today. But
See it through the opposition, intimidation, swinging hatchet, better